Well, hello, hello, hello. This is Rose RCG Creation. How you doing? We are canning ketchup. I use the knife to scrape the inside of the ketchup, and I use this to debubble each one of the jars, which is required. I got a number 10 can, Hunt's Tomato Ketchup, and this number 10 can is 7 pounds, 2 ounces is the weight. And as you can see, I've already got all my little jars right here. Ooh, I just got ketchup on myself. Okay, and basically all you're doing is you're opening up the can. We're putting the ketchup inside each jar for up to 1 inch. Some of these are a little bit higher than 1 inch, but I think I'm going to be okay. I've never done this before, so we'll see if this is going to be working or not. We'll see if I have too much explosion. But most of them are at a 1 inch. This is bottom ring right here is a 1 inch one. So there's a 1 inch one right there. I couldn't just see it. I can't tell if I forget if you can see me or not. I'm in frame. Okay, and then you get your white vinegar, a clean paper towel, soak it, and you wipe each one of the jars. Always double check with your finger to see if there's any crooks or crevices or cracks on the jar, because if they are, then don't use that jar for water bath canning or pressure canning. But it's okay to use it just for regular, like vacuum packing, or just for regular, just everyday storage in your food pantry. And I typically put, I'll say bad on the jar itself, so that way I know that's not bad for pressure canning or water bath canning. That way I don't get it mixed up whenever I'm washing it and stuff. I try to have a little box that I keep all the lid, the little ones that have the cracks or a little dibble or divot. Because remember, this is blown glass on the top there, and I try to keep them on there, and the box is actually labeled no bad jars. That way, that bad jars to me means no water bath canning and no pressure canning. And that way I don't have to worry about labeling every single little jar. Okay? And then you wipe your rims with your wet Clorox, excuse me, not Clorox, wet vinegar to get any residue and sediment off the lid. Then you add, and Ball says you don't have to boil these lids before adding them to your jars. And then you put the lid on there, and then you put the ring on there, and then you close it finger tight. And then you're going to stick it into a water bath canner. I can't do it right now because if you can hear the jiggling, I've got some pressure canning because I have canned some Wolf brand chili, the number 10 cans. I did 2 of those, so those are in their pressure canner. And they're almost done, so I need to wait for that to be done so I can start my water bath canner. But in the meantime, I'm going to be doing some mustard and some nacho cheese. I'm going to do the same thing that I just did with the tomato ketchup. And I'll try to get as many of these in the canner at one time, and I'm hoping to be able to use both of the canners so I can get it all done tonight. This one can, so there's 2 cans, it made 12. So one can makes 6 of the pint jars. And because we're empty nesters, it's just the 2 of us, the 1 pint of this ketchup is just totally fine with us. This is more than enough of ketchup that we'll need for the whole year. I'm thinking I'm still going to be giving some of these as Christmas gifts to some really immediate close friends and family that I know that love ketchup. And I'm just going to label each one, put the date on there, that way they know how old it is. And from a lot of my research, and don't forget, anything that I'm talking about when it comes to food, any of that stuff, do your own research. Everybody should do their own research. Don't just count on a YouTube video. You can, of course, but it's always to your advantage to do your own research and look at different sites. Look at the National Preservation for Canning. They actually study and do tests and all that, so they know these recipes work or don't work. Get a canning book, water bath canning book, vacuum canning book, whatever. Do a lot of your own research. That way you know what's going on. But like I said, this is my first time doing ketchup. I've done the mustard. I did the mustard 3 years ago, and that's going to be in the. Actually, I think I'm gonna put it together on this one video because basically we're doing exactly the same thing. Open up a can, fill up the jar, wiping the rims, putting the lid on, put it in there, and then drop and go in the water bath canner. And because it's only going to take 30-35 minutes to water bath, I can put all these products in the same canner because it doesn't make a difference because it's still only going to need 30-35 minutes. Now, some products do take different time limits. Like ketchup is 30 minutes, barbecue sauce is 30 minutes, relish and pickles only take 10 minutes in a water bath canner. And I will put all this in the description box. Cheese sauce, which is what I'm going to be doing, is 35 minutes. You can do sauerkraut for 30 minutes. Shortening, if you wanted to can like a big jar of lard or Crisco, and can it into the smaller jars, like a half, this is a pint, so this is a half pint or the 1/4 pint, depending on what you want to do with it. And then that's going to give it an even longer shelf life. But Crisco really does last for several years. At least for me, it's always lasted that long, but it still can go rancid on you, especially if it's not in a cool, dark place. So depending on where it's stored, and if it gets hot, it will turn rancid on you. Same thing for coconut oil. Same thing. Coconut oil takes about 15 minutes to process. And you do lemon juice, 30 minutes. Pretty much all tomato products, tomato sauce, pureed tomatoes, whole tomatoes, same thing, 30 minutes. Applesauce is 20 minutes. And you could do hominy and beets, 30 minutes. And let's see, I think that is it on this little list. Yeah, that's everything on this little list of what stuff. And I'm only keeping track of stuff that I know we're going to eat because I only can stuff that I know we're going to eat. If it's something we're not going to eat, like I cannot handle the smell or the taste of sauerkraut. I've tried many kinds. We even went to a German town, tried it. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. But my husband, he loves it. So we just go buy him a jar of sauerkraut because I'm not making it. Maybe someday I will, but not anytime soon. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the description box, the list of all that. And what I'm going to do next, because I really want to try to stay with under 15 minutes for my video. So this is going to be it. This is ketchup. We're done. It's finished. I know because I'm working with cold food. Because I'm trying to save myself on the time and everything. It's okay. If you remember, if you work with cold food, it's going to be a cold canner, cold water. And you stick it in the canner. And then you turn on your heat. And then let it warm itself up. So as the water's warming up in the canner, then this is going to start to warm up. And that way you don't compromise your jars by shocking them, by putting them either a hot food in a cold water or cold food in cold water. So just remember, some recipes do require the food product to be hot. So if it does, follow the recipe exactly because those have been tested and they really know that those items work. So hot food, hot jars, hot canner. Cold food, cold jars, cold canner, and then you start your processing from there. So let me finish this up because these are all done. I'm going to put these in my canner and see how many more jars I can fit. Because I have the All-American, I think it's the 921, and it does 2 trays because right now I've got 12 or 14 jars of chili. These are the 1 pint jars. So I got 2 rows of that into that 1 canner. But that's chili because it's meat. All meat has to be, even if you were to open up, say, a can of hot dog chili. Some hot dog chili, double check your ingredients because if there's any meat in it, you have to process it. And it has to be in a pressure canner. Tomato ketchup can be either water bath or pressure can, either way. But look at that, and I will put in the description what the processing time for water bath canning ketchup and then the processing time for pressure canning ketchup. But I'm almost positive they're both exactly the same time frame, but I'll double check it. And I do like, let me show you. I did order myself this ball, Complete Book of Home Preserving. It's really a good book. I recommend everybody get at least 1 or 2, probably 3 of these books. This is my only one that I have so far. And just follow whatever the recipe says, please follow it. Okay? So we'll catch you back. I'll bring you back when I do my mustard. Because that's my next one. And then my cheese is next. Okay, we're back. Now we're doing the mustard. I was able to get this entire container, which is does it say? 105 ounces, 6 pounds, 9 ounces of French's Classic yellow mustard. I emptied the whole thing. Had a little bit left over, which was not even maybe that much. So I poured it into my container that we have in the fridge. So that won't get processed or anything, so it doesn't really matter. But now I wanted to show you, I did the same thing with the ketchup. I'm doing it with the mustard, and I'm going to do it with the nacho cheese. But once you've filled your jars, you want to do it about at 1 inch headspace. Then you want to debubble. And you're just basically thinking, in a glass jar, never, never, never use metal knife and metal spoon, because the clicking of the metal could compromise the interior of the glass when it goes into your pressure canner and or your water bath canner. Okay, so always use something plastic or wood, but don't use glass. I mean, excuse me, don't use metal. Okay. And all I'm doing is swiveling this around, trying to get all the air pockets out of each jar. And it's right at a 1 inch headspace. So let me find, I'm trying to find one, and my hands are totally clean because I just brushed them just a few seconds ago before I turn the recorder on. So here, this one's the least amount. So I'm just going to use my finger because I'm not going to waste this mustard. And I already closed up that other jar, so I don't want to bother with that. And since it's such a small amount, it's not going to hurt it any, because I'm in with my 1 inch headspace. That's going to go and get washed. Let me put that in there because I don't want to get anything else dirty. Wipe my finger down. I dip this in my white vinegar, rinse all the excess water off. Now I'm going to remove any excess mustard that may be on the rim and on the, this is the rim, and then this is the rings, because you never know, things happen. Nothing there, and then I do this before, but I wanted to show you because I didn't do this, I didn't show you on the video. You want to put your finger on here and you double check all your jars to see if there's any little chips or nicks or any uneven glass, blown glass, because this is blown glass on here. If there is, don't use that jar for a water bath or pressure canning. Okay, so this one's done. I'm going to get my ring, and these are the harvest guards. I labeled them so I knew what they are. You don't have to put these in the boiling water or hot water for 10 minutes before you use them. And I don't care about what color lid versus what, oh, I didn't wipe that down. I don't care what color lid versus what color ring. To me, it doesn't make a bit of difference. Now I'm going to go ahead, because this is me, this is my OCD kicking in. I like to do everything at one time, so I know it's all been cleaned. Like just now, I almost didn't realize I had not wiped that jar down. And that could have compromised the seal, and it would not have done. Oh, there's my timer. My pressure canner is ready. It's already turned off, so I don't have to do anything. I'm going to finish this part here because I wanted to show you. Because after this, I'm going to clean up my mess, my dishes here, and then I am going to make my nachos. And then that should give me one full batch to put into my canner. And I should be able to have enough, because I'm going to take the water, the jars out of my pressure canner, because I can do that 2 layers. My water bath canner only does 1 layer of this size jars. I can do 2 layers of the 1/4 ounce jars, but not of the pints. I can only do 1, and I think it only holds, I think it's 8, 3, 6, 3, I think it's 7 or 8 jars. I forget how many jars are in there. But I'll bring you that to that in just a few minutes. So, but I want to show you this part. So here's my ball lid, and I like the words to face. Fingertip tight, middle finger and thumb, and everybody's strength is different, so just use what's normal for you. Fingertip tight. Some people say they tighten it and then they back up a little quarter. I've never been able to catch on to that. To me, it just doesn't make sense. And I've been canning going on, I've been water bath canning for 6 years. I've been pressure canning going on this is my 3rd year. And I've been very lucky and very successful. I think I've only had 3, maybe 4 lids that didn't seal. And I haven't had anything break on me, but you never know because it happens to everybody, so don't take anything for granted. Okay? And then see my little notch? That little notch, I do reuse my lids. I know you don't. A lot of people say no, not to. Do your own research. I've actually done, for the last 2 years, reused my same lid. Okay, and because this is water bath canning, I'm totally fine, okay? I'm okay with it. And I put a little notch for every time this lid has been used. So after my second, and if in a pinch and I'm desperate and I need it, like we were it's almost 2 years ago now with COVID first hit, when lids were so scarce you couldn't find them nowhere, that's what started me in reusing my lids. And so far I've been very, very lucky. And these, as you can see, they're Kerr. Let me bring that up to you. It's a Kerr lid. I do that with my balls. I've never done it with any other ones. There it is. I couldn't see the design because of the mustard. But there's my word. It either says ball or Kerr or it says Mason, and each jar is different. Then I'm going to close this up. And then I'm going to wait. Because I got to get those other jars. I need to get the ketchup out of the pressure canner. No, I'm not ketchup. I'm pressure canning chili, and I'm also water bath canning the ketchup. But I'm pressure canning the chili. That goes in the pressure cooker because it's got meat in it. And I'm water bath canning the ketchup that I did earlier. So let me pause this, get that part done, and then we're going to come and do the nacho cheese. And then we'll be done for the day. Okay, so here I have my pressure canner with the lid off of it. Over there is the water bath canner that's processing my ketchup. So as soon as the timer's off on that one, because it's you want to wait when you're water bathing for the water to come to a rapid boil. Then you turn down the heat. Then you set the timer for processing, which this won't be 35 minutes. So let's double check that. And yep, it's at a rapid boil. So I'm going to turn down my heat to keep it at a boil. But it doesn't have to be a rapid boil. But it does have to continue to boil. And with time, you'll eventually know what the sweet spot is, like on my pressure canner, because this burner is bigger than the rest of the 3. I do my pressure canning on this one here. I always turn it on to high to get the water rolling, and then once my jiggler starts jiggling, and I get to my temperature on because this one has a temperature dial on it, then I set it to my sweet spot. My sweet spot for this particular stove is the number 6. It's got 1 through. It says it's low, and then 1, 2, 3, and all the way to 9, then a high. So that's actually 9, 10. That's like 11 digits. So 6 is kind of like in the medium. Okay, and you'll eventually know your sweet spot on your oven. Then you'll be able to do this. And like I don't have to come up here and check it. Come up here and check it. Check the dial, because as long as you hear the jiggler jiggling, then you know it's good to go. The water bath canner, or you can do steam bath canning. I don't have a steamer, so I don't do that. I have a water bath canner. You just basically set your timer, and that's it. That's all you have to do. And once the timer's done, turn off the heat. I open this just a little bit of a crack, and I leave it sitting there. Let the steam escape. But be careful because that steam is hot. Let the steam escape for about 7 to 10 minutes, and then I take my jars out because I don't want to compromise the temperature of the air around here in the house, because I don't know if it's winter or summer with the jars. So let me do those, get those out, and we'll bring you back when I do the next phase. Okay, we're back. This is the last batch. The nacho cheese. Here's my can. 6 pound, 11 ounces. Got this for all these number 10 cans were bought from Sam's. So I did 2 cans of Wolf Brand chili, 2 cans of ketchup, and 1 container of mustard, and now 1 can of cheese, nacho cheese. And I made 2, 4, 6 pints, and then 2 of the little 1/4 ounce pints. And when you're doing an odd size like this in a batch, it still has to process the exact same time, because technically, really, pints and under in each jar that's a pint and under all gets processed at the same time, either water bath canning or pressure canning. Now, if you're doing, like, say, a quart, like, say you have most of the jar and the canner are quarts, but you have like maybe 2 or 3 pints, you still have to process this the same amount of time as it is for the quarts. Okay, just FYI. Okay, so I'm gonna put these in the canner. I'm gonna have both canners rolling. My pressure canner, which I'm gonna turn into a water bath canner, and then my water bath canner, which has already got the hot water because I just took out the ketchup out of that canner. Now I'm gonna put these jars in there. Then we're gonna start to set it up, let it go to a boil. Once it comes to a rapid boil, that's when you set your timer. This timer for all of these. And let me just double check it, because it's ketchup is 30 minutes. Chili is, we already did the chili. That was in the pressure canner. Okay, tomato sauce, already did that. Okay, next thing is so I got ketchup. I got 4 jars of ketchup. Oh, my mustard. Sorry, my mustard. And mustard is 35 minutes. Okay, let's put those in the jar. So now I'll bring you back when they're all out of the jar, because it's the same process for everything. But I'm doing this video to let you know that you can do 3 or 4 different products in the same batch to speed things up, as long as you have the equipment to do that in. Okay? And the processing time is the same for all, so that's why you're able to do that. And it's all water bath canning, not water bath and pressure canning. We'll bring you back. Okay, I'm back. I decided to switch cameras. The other one ran out of battery. Okay, here's the water bath canner. It's got all 8 jars in there. That's ketchup and ketchup and mustard. This one has, I forgot to count, but I had those 2 little small ones, and I've got 1 inch of headspace. And bear with me. I've got a little. Here's another one like my green one, and I put measurements 1, 2, and 3, so that way I know. And I just use a Sharpie. That you just need 1 inch of headspace atop of the lids for a water bath canning. And now I've got the heat on. So both canners, and once they start to come to a rapid boil, I am going to turn it down so it just stays at a continuous boil, but not a rapid boil. And then I'm going to process for 30 minutes. And then they will be done. I can take them out and we'll be all set and good to go. Oh, and FYI, this is the same water that I used when I did my chili. And there was no siphoning, so it turned out really well. I was very pleased. I'm hoping the same thing happens with these. Here are my ketchup, my first batch of water bath canning ketchup. And then here is the jar 3, 6, I did 12 jars out of those 2 number 10 cans of chili. Okay, we'll bring you back.
Camera issues. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.